Today's video, we're going to be looking for the buck that y'all know as the Big Ten. We just recently got a picture of him in velvet. He's not a 10 point no more. The name is going to stick since last season when it all went down and how hard we hunted for him last season, me and my dad. So I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Alright, so I guess for starters, it's backstory time on this deer, the Big Ten. We named it that because he was like a big 10 point last season. In the last video that I put out, I actually had some pictures on him, talked about him just for a few seconds, not really in detail about him. But the Big Ten, he come around about the first of the season, and I mean, biggest buck we had on camera, biggest buck we was seeing out here at that time. So we ultimately decided, hey, we're gonna hunt for him, you know. So season rolled around, I went hunting. Actually, I was doing football last year, so I missed the first day. Second day, though, after practice, that was after school, I went, sit in the stand. I got in there about 5:30, pretty late. About dark, so it was around 7:30, 8. Heard something coming up through the woods. This big old buck, he rolled out, and he's dark rack deer. He come out. He stood there forever. He wouldn't give a shot. Had my bow with me. And he finally turned, put behind him. No blood, no arrow, nothing. So, I mean, we couldn't find anything. This past season, turkey hunting, we actually ended up finding the broken off arrow. Because I shoot Easton arrows. The fletchings on them. At the time, it was like, I think it was green and white. And we found that same arrow broken off. So I hit the deer, just didn't bleed. And actually, surveyors that surveyed the property next to us, which is the way you ran, found a big dead buck down in the creek. So that's most likely him. Anyways, so at first we thought I shot the Big Ten, because he quit showing up after that. Come to find out, I didn't, because about 2 weeks later, here he come back rolling on our cameras. So we still hunting hard for him. It was mostly me hunting hard for him, considering Dad had to work a bunch at the time. So I was sitting there, going around, changing tree stands, everything to kill this buck, putting the corn out, putting the miles in, walking, hunting hard. Every evening I could after practice. I was bruised to crap too. Talk about painting the butt pulling back that bow after had 3 hours of practice and then climbing the tree stand as soon as you got home. Not to mention, I probably smelled pretty bad, so that didn't help none. But I skipped school one morning because he started daylighting, and I got in the stand at like 5:30, and here he come. He come up over the berm. He's 30 yards. I could just see his head and his rack and some of his neck. So he gets starting to get swelled up. This was at the end of October. I think it was Halloween, actually. And he come over the berm there by the deer feeder. And he stood there about that time down on the road. Some cars started going by. And he just kind of backed out of there. Not to mention, he's downwind of me. He might have smelled me some. But, dude, if he just would have came up there. Rolling by, had another encounter with him a few nights later. Still, just wasn't giving me a shot. He wouldn't come over that berm. He knew something was up. So, once we noticed he knew where we was in that tree stand, we decided to move it on over the hill. It's about 50, 60 yards from the tree stand. Original spot. So, we had the feeder and actually up in the tree. So, there was this big old stump, and it has like 4 oak trees coming out of it. And the one was big enough to put the stand in. So we kind of finagled it up in there. But, I mean, you're hitting pretty good. And you could see the feeder, so I'd be sitting there, just looking over my shoulder. Some deer would come up, small bucks would come up. We had so many encounters with small bucks. But we found out he was on the neighbor's property over the fence. We found that out because one morning I was sitting there in the rut when it was on pretty good. And just heard a bunch of grunt, and then up here he come. Just see his rack. I mean, he had a big old rack, dude. You could just see it through all that brush, and he's on a doe. She would have come out, dude. I'm telling you. But youth gun season was not too far away, so I was getting kind of ready for that. And I forget what I was doing that night. I come home and my dad, he's just like, sat in your stand. I was like, yeah, I told you to. And he said, you ain't gonna believe it. So, I was sitting there like, well, what's he gonna say? He seen the buck or something? He said, I shot your buck. I was like, you shot the 10-point? No way. He said, yeah, I shot him 30 yards. It was right about dark. It was coming close, and he said he was sitting over there across the fence line, so he did a doe bleat. Because there's an old doe standing out there. He's looking at hard. Here he come, and he dropped down below the tree stand 30 yards. Shot him. Air passed through, good blood. So, but he said he couldn't find blood. Very good. So me and him went up there, found more blood, tracked him. He made a circle, and we stopped finding blood. And we looked for like 2 hours. It was around 12:30, so we come back home. We was just sitting there trying to regroup, get an idea. At the time, our phone pinged from stealth cam. We looked on there, and there he was. Big old hole right through the center of his chest. Through both sides, you could see the broadhead. We were shooting four-blade muzzies. You could just see it. And he's sitting there eating at the freaking feeder. And kept coming. Youth season come around for gun. I went, sat over a big field because I seen the buck, the tall 8 or big 8. I showed him in my last video too. Seen him the night before because I was going out to town to get some stuff. And I sat there that morning. So I went back that other morning, sat till 10, seen a bunch of deer, but no bucks really for shooting. Come back that night, I went in there at 3:30. About 4:30, 5 o'clock. Heard grunt behind me, heard doe snorting, chasing. I was like, that buck's behind me. I was about to get up and stink over there. But at the time on the hill to my right, I heard, and here he come running down. And he missed a turn off to the other field. He kept coming, and he seen me. Stopped in his tracks. He turned around. He started barreling. I stood up, shot him. He dropped. Anyway, so we're still getting pictures of him. It's almost December. My dad just shot a buck a week after I shot mine. So we still watching him on cameras, and we was like, well, we should find his sheds pretty early then. He'll drop them early. December hits. We got a bad snowstorm. He's gone. The small 8 he runs with, he's gone. We don't get no more pictures of him. No more pictures of the big 8. Nothing. All we're getting is does. We kept the cameras on till January. Just more does. So shed time come around. I shed hunted my butt off. Found 18. I found one of his from 2 years ago. Well, actually, no, it was a year ago. And actually, I'll show that shed now. So this shed here is distinctively his because the brow, it gets that short G2, that big G3, and it comes up at that angle. And same thing for this year in his velvet pick, it comes up at that angle. And last year, the only thing that changed was his G4. It grew a little more, and his beam grew a little more, but I found that like almost 2 miles away from where was getting pictures of him. Now he moved a little more towards that way. Anyways, so we thought he died. And I went to all the neighboring properties, looked everywhere for the Big 10 sheds, and couldn't find him. I get his picture down here, and I'm like, what the heck? He moved out. I thought he was dead because I found the small 8-point he was running with on the other side of the hill, and it was a good ways away. It was be about a mile if you think about it. I found the buck he was running with, and we found a big dead deer body, and there was no head. So I was just assuming that somebody either shot him late season or somebody found him dead and cut his head off. And that's what I just kept on thinking this whole time till the other day. I got that one picture. Anyways, this was the day I put that camera out. This here's Cam 3 feeder. This is where the Big 10 always stayed. And I was just clicking through here, looking at these pictures I was getting, and about the time, got one from Cam 1. And I got to looking, I was like, holy crap, it's him. That's that short G2, tall G3, G4 matches up. He's taller, but then look at the other side. That G2 smaller on the right side than the left side. Same thing for the G3, and he's missing that G4. That side's a little messed up. And actually, he was shot on the, what side was he shot on? I believe he was shot on the left side, which would make the right side mess up. So yeah, that's pretty accurate right there. But he's a 9 point now. I'm still going to stick with the name, the Big 10, just to do with the history of him and everything else. But that's the most recent picture I got of him. And actually today, I went up there, did some stuff, and found some stuff. So I'll put that video or footage up right now. Alright, y'all, just come down this deer path, going back to that camera. I found his bed. A very big buck's bed. What I need to do is get a camera right there on that tree here soon. Get 2 angles up here. Up here, I just took this machete, kind of cleared this brush out on this new camera site because some of this is in the way. His bed's up in there. So I just put some apples out just to see if we couldn't get a better picture of him for sure. See what else is up here. And if stuff starts looking up better, then we'll start kind of cleaning this out better, putting camera up, so I'm gonna place a tree stand for this fall. This is the most well-traveled trail coming from up there I could find. This got to be it. So, brought a regular camera. We're just gonna find somewhere right here, stick it up. Alright, we got it up here on this tree. Got our card. Camera's on. Sloppy job. That's how we like it. Camera's not really best position, probably not even high enough, but it's gonna have to do. It's gonna have to do for tonight. So right up in there. So we got the cell camera with apples down here, right below. Found this trail, now it probably leads straight up there to his bed. But yeah, hopefully we get him. Anyways, so that's the whole story on the Big 10 buck from last season, finding his shed this winter, and now getting a velvet picture of him after we thought he died in the dead of winter whenever we had that bad snowstorm here. But turns out he made it through. His little buddy, the small 8, where is he at? I don't know. The big 8, I don't know. But the Big 10, I know he's alive, he's healthy, and he's big. So right now, we don't have that much evidence on him, exactly where he's at. We found a big bed, as you can see. I went up there, put apples out, cleared that out some, and just opened it up a little more. And I put that camera down below, and that trail leads right up there to where the big bed is. And there's a trail that leads to it, then out over the hill where the cell camera's at. But, I mean, that'll conclude today's video and the revival story of the Big 10. The buck we thought was dead. Hope you all enjoyed today's video. Thanks for supporting us. And you can also find us on Instagram and on TikTok. Again, thanks for all the support. And hopefully, whenever we get more evidence, shine some light on where this big buck's staying. And we'll fill y'all in on that. Till next time.